The great hands that be have dropped 2 devs into our pretty little laps to talk about what's happening in Star Citizen's industrial sector going forward, what has happened previously and recently, because, well, there is actually a lot of stuff going on in industrial, and what's going to happen in the future. The big thing about this, I think, is important is that, like, this is going to be kind of the same talk that we've gotten for a while, and that a lot of it's going to be like, oh yes, that's happening soon, that'll come at some point, that is planned. But I think it's a good thing because we haven't had a good industrial talk since before the 1.0 talk. And the 1.0 talk, I think, resets some expectations. Obviously 100 systems down to 5 at launch, and all other sorts of things. The things that were explicitly mentioned there, obviously we know are coming. The things that weren't, we don't. So while they did have like industrial loops on the page, we didn't know what the details were. And there are some key questions that get asked here that reconfirm that some things are coming into the game that I think are important for industrial gameplay. The other reason I think this is important is because we're finally past the point of everything being a combat-related addition. And I know all the comments are going to be like, oh, but there's combat in that industrial gameplay. Which, yeah, but it used to be that there just weren't any industrial features. Y'all in the chat, or you in the comments, or you sitting on the couch, driving the car. Wherever you are, you probably maybe remember if you've been around for a while, when like before 3.18, the only industrial gameplay was mining, and it was just mining for Quantanium, really, and hauling like 1/8 SEU boxes back and forth. And then we got 3.18, and suddenly there was salvage. The cargo refactor came in, so there was cargo hauling. Now we see crafting is starting to develop. Refueling actually came in, although that is not really that useful right now. It like took a while for industrial to start become a focus, and even now I think it still hasn't gotten quite to the point where the features are flooding in. But with crafting, seems like we're getting there. So all that to say, I've wasted 2 minutes already talking about why I'm excited. Why don't we just get into the talk instead, and we'll chat about it as we go.
You gotta build the splines and then adjust the.
Jesus.
And you got to build the splines, you got to adjust the splines and everything. So it's just it goes, and it's like 28 minutes long or something. I don't quite remember, but it just never hits the corner. It's my promise to like everybody in Star Citizen is that, you know, I will bring you close to satisfaction without ever fully delivering it. So it just bounces and bounces, and it gets close to the corner every couple of times. But
I just want to make note that one of the first things I pulled from this episode was that exact quote. Hold on. I've got it right here. I pulled it up, sent it to Mrs. Tomato.
It's my promise to like everybody in Star Citizen is that, you know, I will bring you close to satisfaction without ever fully delivering it.
I've got it saved. We're going to make that spawnable on stream. Do not worry yourself. Nobody needs context.
Good show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Star Citizen Live Industrial Gameplay. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. And if you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take about an hour out of the end of our week and we chat with CIG developers. Sometimes I ask them my questions. Sometimes I ask them your questions. This is one of those shows where I ask them your questions. So we got about 30 or some pre-taped, and then of course there'll be whatever ones pre-taped. It's not pre-taped. It's live. Syllabus. Plus, we'll take some questions from chat.
Did he just check to see if he was having a stroke? Why did he say syllabus?
So we're just going to jump into it. Let me introduce you to our two esteemed,
He's off to a start.
Steamed?
They ask, like, hey, Joe, do you need anything to prep for the show? And I'm like, nah, I've been doing this 11 years. I got it. You got something. Our two esteemed guests.
Just give them the questions and hop
recently relocated here to the Manchester studio permanently, so I get to see you every day I want to, and just get to walk up and be like, hey, Torsten, what's going on? Look, I didn't put my hand on it. You thought I was going to do it. You thought I was going to do it, and I didn't. Audio guy gets angry anytime I do this. Torsten, tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
I need an emote of this, dude. Why does he look like Chris Roberts just walked into the office after playing a new game? Oh, Torsten, I love you, man.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
Hello, I'm Thorsten. Lead systems designer.
And what does lead systems designer do?
So every gameplay that you encounter in the Star Citizen universe somehow went through our team's hands at some point, and that is basically our responsibility. Well, we have.
I was going to say, you just said every gameplay. Okay. Yeah. Send your letters to Torsten Lyman, care of 6 Manchester Goodyard Street. It's all your fault. Go ahead. Congratulations.
It's all our fault.
You just took
Lyman or Lehman?
Well,
Including my.
someone has to take responsibility.
He said it.
That's it.
It is true, though. Somebody does.
How do you think the show's going so far?
You're killing it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's got this light. Anytime I do this, the audio guy's like, stop doing this. You make it hard to hear. What if I talk like this? 11 years. Elliot!
They hate him.
It's not. It's above. Yeah. I did this.
No, that's a loophole I don't like.
This is a perfectly natural and normal way to hold your face.
You're like
Audio engineers hate this one man.
Elliot, come on. My mind to my mind.
Yeah.
My thoughts to my thoughts. Elliot, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Elliot. I am the lead mission designer, and I put a bow on Thorsten's systems and give players money for engaging with them, I guess.
All right. You build all the missions and stuff that drive people to the systems and drive people to exploring
means
and
real money,
experiencing all
by
the
the way.
systems that he and his team.
You'd
get
agree,
paid to
right,
play this game.
Thorsten? Right, don't you?
Does your work without his work?
Does my work work?
Good question.
No, actually, because we need the systems in the game to function. So, yeah, it's true.
And does your work matter if there's no systems driving people to experience them?
We don't care about.
Yeah. And that's why we're a team.
It's the best kind of team.
All right, so the boss is in Australia. I'm sure he's not watching right now. What time is it there? I'm sure he's asleep. If he is watching, I'm sorry.
Just gonna watch
as
it
we are
afterward.
wont to do sometimes, we put up a thread up on Spectrum, which is the bespoke communication platform available on robertspaceindustriescom. Yes, I'm still shilling for it. 10 some odd years later, where you guys get to submit your questions, vote up on which ones you wanted to see answered most. We ignore the voting whatsoever and pick the ones that we want to talk about. And that's what we've done today. So we've got a list here in no particular order. We're going to start with the first question. What is your plan to make industrial gameplay actually fun?
Which one of us is that for?
Isn't it fun already? Well, so there are definitely things that can still be improved, but I think we already have some well-working industrial gameplay loops. So mining has a huge fan base, salvage has a huge fan base. They also specifically target different type of player groups. We have refueling somewhere still in the background of all the existing mechanics that is still there. There are some plans to improve it in the not too distant future, but
You heard it here first, folks. Refueling is there.
yeah. So there are a lot of industrial gameplay loops that we already have, and they work right now in isolation, and they work more. Some work better, some work can be improved, but
Not at all.
Yeah, overall, then there's the up and coming. So
Oh, well, okay, I'll give them this. Refueling does work to an extent.
some of you might have already played the tech preview for crafting, but yeah, that is basically the end goal that every industrial gameplay loop that we have will actually tie into. So moving forward, and basically that will be also covered by a lot of the questions that you asked. We will always come back to, because we have crafting now and because crafting is right around the corner, everything will start to tie back into together or tie into each other. And then we will finally have a full gameplay loop that is then called the industrial gameplay loop. And then way later, when we have base building, we will basically fulfill a full circle where we then start with the normal player-to-player, ship-based industrial gameplay loops into crafting, into base building, and then with the location-based industrial gameplay loops.
See, this is what Star Citizen's all about, in my opinion. I am constantly bewildered by the people who are like, this is becoming a combat game, when there's so much industry that has to happen before this game actually works. I think this is what really matters. Combat supports this, in my opinion. Like, the real power in this game is going to come from who has the best resources, the best things crafted, who has found the best things from the best intel. Like, pew pew is cool and it exists, and yeah, it's taken up a whole bunch of their time and focus right now, but it's easy and it already exists, and Squadron 42 is a thing. This is the future.
So to answer the question, is it fun? Answer the question for yourself. If there's something that you enjoy, it's fun for you.
So you're telling him to look inwards.
Fun's another question.
Like, that's the benefit of Star Citizen. We have so many gameplay loops. You can pick what you like and you can enjoy it. And you can play it actually like we are one of the few games where you can, I wanted to say waste a lot of time in just one gameplay loop, but you can spend a lot of time in that gameplay loop and enjoy your life.
I like it.
I told the other people marketing that on the show today, I had Torsten and Elliot, and no joke, they looked at me and went, "Oh, are you still going to have a job at the end of this?" Well,
Because of him?
no, because of the comment. You always. I'm going to step in here. You always come from a very pragmatic, a very self-deprecating point of view. But I want to point out that in the years since cargo was first introduced, before your time here, the years since mining was introduced, you got to start with mining and it's like this. These systems have evolved tremendously. Since their first versions. It's always a bit of a Star Citizen meme, and there are many.
Y'all want to see what mining used to look like? It's actually not that crazy different. I think mining has actually missed the mark a little bit on its ability to expand, given the potential it had originally. Like, if we look at what mining looks like right now from a perspective of a miner, this is basically what we get. Now, the UI is way better, as you're going to see in a little bit, but the actual process still largely just revolves around getting to a rock and filling it with laser juice until it explodes. If you go all the way back to our earliest... I'm pretty sure I have earlier stuff than this. Let's see. Earliest looks were like... This was the UI. Granted, this is the scanning layout, I think. But like, look at the rocks we were using. I did like the graph. The graph was kind of cool. This is what it originally looked like. So it's not, as far as the graphics and like the actual way it works goes, it hasn't changed that much in my opinion. I think they could have done a lot more with the gadgets and the actual requiring you of getting out of your seat. At the same time, though, maybe that doesn't work if there's no value in any of the rocks anyways. Like, you can't pay people a lot of stuff to mine rocks that nobody cares about. Maybe crafting changes that with the value mindset, but I don't know.
Since their first versions, it's always a bit of a Star Citizen meme, and there are many Star Citizen memes. This is T0, T1. We have seen mining and cargo and salvage as these industrial gameplay loops continue to iterate. Year after year after year. Mining is a far throw from where it was when it started. We recently just had another big revision to salvage, where salvage isn't the best place it's ever been. Your first version of engineering. It just came out, and I was just in a meeting where they were talking. You were presenting new improvements and the evolutions to engineering stuff. These things continue to evolve, and will continue to evolve. So, what is your plan to make industrial gameplay actually fun? Is a bit of a trick question, because it's literally the entire purpose of your existence here. It's
yes, I would say so.
It's like I half expected you to say, like, I spend every minute of my life in this goal. I hope I achieve it someday. But I liked your answer. Like, would you say look inward?
Look inward. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one to say it's hard too because not every gameplay loop is for every person.
Yeah, that's salvage and versus mining is actually one good example there. You have the hull scraping, which is more relaxing. You put on some music, you do something on the side, but you still feel productive in the game. Versus mining, where you have to pay attention to not blow yourself up. Yes.
It's like this little cozy gaming kind of thing where you just
Yes.
kind of sit back and write your name in the hulls of ships. And only your name.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
I think it's I feel like the question's asking when things are gonna matter, right? Like they have a point. The gameplay is fun depending on who you are and what you're looking for, but even if you're doing something that you find fun, a lot of people still like there to be a reason to do it, whether that is denying somebody else resources or finding something yourself that you can like trade or put in your hangar or use later or like wear, besides just kind of finding the umpteenth Valakar Fang. I think people are just looking for more reason to do things, and they get to that here in this show. It's crafting. That's a big one, crafting, base building, and being able to actually buy, sell, and trade these things. But I'm surprised they don't go into that at all here. It's not like they don't have a point.
Have more variety in industrial missions.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on.
Yeah, so when we do some missions like this, we try to go at it and be scalable so that as we build more and more systems and more locations, these missions can populate into other systems and always give players something to do. So our first delivery was that. It was something that was scalable, that was fun and open, that players can sort of choose how they come at it. However, we definitely want to keep adding it and have things like Shubin are asking you to go mine their mining claim. They own this mining claim, they own these pieces of rocks, they've given you exclusive rights and they want you to go there and mine it for them. We want Battaglia back, and we want her to have missions where she's sending you to go do scouting missions. So you don't have to mine the rocks, but she wants you to go out and she goes, I need you to find me 10 of rock that contain iron. And in the future when crafting comes online, it's like, I want you to find me 15 that have a quality over the value of 400 or something like that.
That's literally the most like basic fetch quest kind of mission there is, and I mean that in the best way. This is the stuff that we're going to get from job boards at outposts. This is, if they're working on this is that sort of cannon fodder content that you can just like come to an outpost, you arrive, you got there because you were just on the move and you needed a place to stop by. You go over to the job board and there's like, a couple things listed of somebody who's like, I've got an old carburetor that needs some replacing. I need some Hephaestonite for my spark plugs. Can you find me 3 rocks of Hephaestonite with over 950 quality? And then you go out and get it and you turn it in and you get paid and that's done. But like there's some narrative and some localized gameplay and you can just chill there and do that. And that's nice. I certainly hope they're not the highlight missions because they definitely are more of the like basic stuff. But I see how they can build it into more narrative stuff for mission givers. I love this kind of content, dude.
Like, I want you to find me 15 that have a quality over the value of 400 or something like that. So we definitely want more variety in our industrial missions, because what we've got right now is the base level. It's the foundation of industrial missions. It's the idea of this location wants a bunch of resources. You choose how to get them. You use whatever tools are at your sandbox control to do it, whatever tools Torsten gives you, and then you look inward for the fun.
You mentioned Battaglia. We're working to bring. What are you laughing at? We're working to bring Battaglia back, hopefully later this year.
We are. We're working very hard. I have been reviewing the stuff
I got a video coming out about that soon.
we've been building for it, and it's very fun. So, why are you smiling, Torsten? Have faith.
Torsten,
Hater
dude.
over here.
Torsten's facial expressions are a highlight of Star Citizen's development journey. He's just always making faces.
No, it'd be good. We experimented with mission givers however long ago, and then they fell to the wayside because other priorities and stuff like that. But being able to bring back mission givers will be a nice new addition to that kind of stuff, because you can only look at a movie glass so much.
Mission givers are where the big NPCs might think you are smelly and not talk to you idea comes from. It's not exactly where it came from, but that is one of the places it was referenced in a way. And like, I've never forgotten it. I know exactly where it is. Right here. Yeah, and it's one of the most replayed parts of this episode too. Is it talk about reputation back in the day with Ben Dorsey?
Talked about some fun stuff where, like, Konstantin Herson, for instance, is a bit of a snob. You walk in wearing a bad coat or, like, some weird clothes, he might think less of you. You can also key it off of things like when you happen to raid...
I bet that's going to piss some people off. The reputation idea and the mission givers and stuff they talked about back then was so cool. And then mission givers just completely fell off. Reputation really didn't get picked up on, like, using these systems that they came up with. They didn't even have things to reward us with when it came to reputation. That's why I think that they're working on it now. They actually have unique stuff in the game they can give to us. Hopefully this next launch of this whole system works better, but I think they should have talked more about reputation in general during this episode. I guess it's industrial, whatever.
Yeah. These new industrial missions, these new ones that just went online, what was it, last week?
Something like that.
What were those? In case people don't know that a brand new set of industrial missions went online just last week.
So we introduced the new industrial missions, and basically inside of that is the salvage and mining. So what happens is a faction asks you to gather resources for them and bring it to their location. So they'll ask for sort of, X amount of iron, X amount of conundrum, or whatever resources we have in our game, and the player is tasked to retrieve them by any means necessary. So the main way that players will engage with this is via the mining and refining.
X amount of conundrum. I can't get this back to the station.
Mining loops, that's the most obvious. However, players can also purchase these and turn them in, or players could pirate other players and steal them and turn them in if they didn't want to engage with that mining. So they're kind of like this open Lego box, and you choose how you build the mission yourself. You kind of go, okay, I'm going to do it like this or this. We also did other salvage ones, so we introduced FPS salvage.
It's just the salvage version of the cargo hauling missions.
By FPS salvage, I don't mean FPS hull scraping. I mean, we give you actual...
Actually, no, I'm sorry. It's a resource collection order. It's just like the... I guess we've only had these really for events before? Haven't we had these before? Maybe not. No, we didn't have mining missions before. What am I talking about? No, these are special for events, like the Resource Rush or Save Stanton.
Missions that require you to gather components off of a ship, whether it be shields, weapons. We have missions that are like, hey, just go get me a bunch of size 0 weapons or size this weapons components. We have some bugs of it that we're looking into and we're trying to fix
fetch quests
to allow you to sort of do the existing salvage claim missions that Adagio offer, so you can do those, pay for the salvage rights, salvage those ships, and then put them straight into the resource gathering mission if you so wish. We also put time into trying to do a simplistic intro for these, where the player is sent to a cave near the outpost where they have to drop off and has to go in and find one little gem of aphorite. And the same thing with the salvage. We give you this first ship so you can understand it and how it works, just so it's a better sort of onboarding experience for new players who haven't ever engaged. I'm a combat fighter, I've never done this, how do I do it? So we can give them that sort of the tools
to
understand if there's fun.
It's actually crazy. We looked at this video. Guys, dang it.
Beautiful.
I hate it when I do that. Where were we? Sorry, I lost my spot there. This is very similar to what they were saying way freaking back. Basically, whenever they did their demo of Tisha Pacheco on Star Citizen Live, I want to say it was in here somewhere.
Tools are online for you to work with, and then other times like this one, like you added the ship lending as a way to kind of push the development of new systems.
Risk your skin for more boxes.
You should just see a cutlass there.
So we give you a cutlass.
Yeah, here we go.
And
so this is 2019. They're basically saying the same thing about how they wanted to do missions here.
And we did that because some players don't have ships that can put cargo in them at all. So, you're here to carry one box, perhaps get greedy. So we give you a cutlass.
Yeah, it gives you a ship with plenty of space to risk your skin for more boxes.
You
should
Whoa. God dang it. I just keep pressing the wrong buttons.
there, Park. You got it.
the missions and why you create them. Lots of times there are, restriction when you make a mission. There's the restrictions of what tech is online, what tools are online for you to work with, and then other times like this one, like you added the ship lending as a way to kind of push the development of new systems.
Yes. Yep. The way the ship lending is done at the moment is very hacky.
Yes, and
Gareth
they've
will
done
attest.
some sneaky things.
Some bad things. Because obviously, what we'd really like is the ability to use the systems that already exist. Like all players are used to being able to unlock their own ship and then have all their party members
Hook it
pilot
up to all your friends and probably them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I'm gonna cut this off. You don't need to keep listening to that. But they basically say the same thing here. They're explaining that a lot of the starting missions are going to be based around the idea that players might not have certain ships. You can't buy a certain ship, obviously. They're not going to lock away a certain type of gameplay just because you can't get that ship right away. So they'll probably do a thing where you can get a ship given to you by the mission giver to do that mission as a way to trial the ship out and also get to see more of the game, even if you don't have the ability to maybe buy into a ship at that price.
Near the outpost where they have to drop off and has to go in and find one little gem of aphorite. And the same thing with the salvage. We give you this first ship so you can understand it and how it works. Just so it's a better sort of onboarding experience for new players who haven't ever engaged. I'm a combat fighter. I've never done this. How do I do it? So we can give them that sort of the tools to understand.
It's also why we've needed missions in the first place.
The signatures now for the caves.
Yes.
It's like telling a new player to get into FPS mining is you have to walk them through every single part of the process. If you tell them to just go take a mission, that mission's basically a tutorial.
That took a while to get working, but we figured it out.
And it was Deck who figured it out overnight.
Yes. Yeah, we had this cave and we had a signature, so when you're going around scanning for it, it'd pop up. And the marker was never there. And the radius was set somewhere like 4 million.
Yeah.
So 4 million miles away, you'd see the cave, but it never popped up for, I don't know, it's not been there since I've been here. So good 6-7 years. And then Deck looked into it and was like, the marker was set to be invisible.
Yes.
And we're like, fuck. We fixed it.
Happens.
God bless Declan.
Game dev, it's just fun.
That's your one.
Oh shit.
This is what the people in marketing were talking about.
My colourful language.
You can curse on the
Let's
internet.
jump around to some of these industrial professions here. Let's do a cargo question here. Has the team devised any plans for a cargo manifest MFD of some kind that tells you what you have aboard your ship, possibly where it's located, maybe using the same 3D view from the engineering panel? It seems strange that third parties who scan our ship have a better idea of exactly what we have aboard than our captains or crew do. WTF, Torsten. That's what it says in that.
Okay.
That sounds like it was
we have
added.
Plans, to do a manifest. We don't work on it right now to do the precise manifest of you and your ship owning. You can have this nice overview, but there's a feature coming soon that also would benefit a lot from a more precise manifest, or you as the player knowing exactly what is on your ship. I don't want to say anything in addition to that, but it's So we are working our way towards a better overview of what you have on your ship. It's small steps that we take here because it's only so much time we can take off for some development to actually investigate here. Mm-hmm. But in the end, we will end up with hopefully a full MFD or full screen that gives you an overview of what is actually on your cargo grid or on your cargo grids, depending on the ship.
What's the other feature that would benefit?
Well,
You can tell me. No, everybody else, earmuffs.
No.
Okay.
You can ask Elliot.
Elliot, what's the feature?
FPS scanning, you think?
Another feature.
Rearming and refueling. The only thing I've ever seen from them that resembles a manifest is one of their old UI. Yeah, like this, which is barely a manifest. Like it doesn't even show you where these things are. Like, okay, cool, this box is on my ship, but I'm on an ironclad. Which box is it? Yeah, this is way back when their UI used to look a lot different. This is clearly a previs. I don't know what the heck they're going to do with this, whether it'll be on the Mobi-Glass or an MFD or what, but I cannot wait for it because it would be really nice. Sort of sucks not being able to see what's on your own freaking ship. I think, I mean, crafting lands, in my opinion, because with things like the Clipper, if you have a fabrication station on your ship, it can pull resources from your cargo grid, which means the feature itself needs to be able to read exactly what's on your cargo grid. So I think that fits, but I don't know why they'd be so cagey about crafting. That wouldn't make sense. So I don't know what the heck they're talking about.
You should.
It's not a secret. What's the feature?
You might have to remind me.
Let's move on.
At this point, we've built too much of the thing up.
It's okay.
Maybe I say it randomly and you can go, that's the one. Maybe we do that.
Yeah.
People have changed. I thought you were all about open development.
We still like surprising people.
What's the status on ship-based refining? Seems like a critical role with crafting coming.
That is correct. It is a very critical role for crafting. So, yeah, it will not be part of the first crafting release. So what we want to do is, like, for crafting as well as for engineering gameplay, it's a more long-term investment from our side. So we will build up on the basis that we built. And right now, what we have in tech preview, and some of you might already have played it in tech preview, that is the basis that we want to start with. So we start with mainly FPS equipment for now, and then expand further on. And one of the bits is actually the refining rework, because we already talked about it several times, but the way that resources work will behave very different to what we have right now in the live game when crafting comes in. So Elliot also mentioned it right now, or like minutes ago, where we have quality suddenly being part of that, the resources. And quality then also needs to be accounted for in the refining process. And that results all in to the refining that we have right now will not exist the way it exists right now anymore. It will all update. And we take that time that we use for the update then to also update the ship-based refining, the station refinery, and then as last step, the base building refining step.
That sounds like a big delivery.
FPS refining, right? Just having to crank a wheel or something.
Well, we have the crafters. Technically, the crafters are capable of doing small refining jobs, but that is, undecided at this point.
In regard to...
So the story on refining is interesting because it actually, I saw the question earlier, should we be okay with hauling repair and salvage or something, or hauling salvage and mining for industry? And I don't think we should. Refining is a big part of industry, one that has been very much forgotten in the conversations. But yeah, I think this is going to be a big part of what makes crafting matter. We've already got a ship lined up that we know will have refining as its sort of dedicated profession. This is the starter for refining. It's called the Expanse. No relation to the game or the show or the book or the original concept of a game. But it is noted that James S.A. Corey, they are curious about the game. They said, I'm curious if they will manage to actually deliver on the promise of Star Citizen. The demos they keep putting out look amazing. Which is about as straightforward and lukewarm a statement as you can give on something. I already have a crew that will let me fly with them when and if the time comes. I'd love to jump in an engineering bay during a battle. We all would. We all would, my friend. So, that has nothing to do with the ship, but the ship is supposed to be the go-to for small-scale refining. It looks really big, and then you look at it next to a prospect, and you realize it's not that big. It is a 2-person ship, and it takes in 8 pods, and then I think you can store 8 more. It's got 6 reactors on it. And the idea for refining is you will have to have reagents or catalysts or something that you put into this refining mechanism and mix with the stuff you have, and you pick the right stuff for the right thing. You should get the highest quality material out of it, and then be able to craft the highest quality thing from it. So refining is supposed to actually make a big difference in the whole industrial loop, and it's supposed to be a big enough deal that people will specialize in it. So we'll see. They talk about that here in a minute. So here's the catalyst that they talk about here. And from what I've seen of the inventories we've been getting in the tech preview, most of the, like, they're actually matching this kind of UI. The inventory looks pretty close to what they showed us. The crafting, while it didn't look the same graphically, it did look the same in terms of where everything was placed. So I'm guessing they're going in the same direction. So, you know, think about how you feel about this UI style. I kind of like it.
To produce steel. As an example, if you put in low quality coal, you might require 4 SCU of coal versus high quality coal that only requires 2 SCU. This is one of the important use cases for low quality materials that Jacob mentioned. You can use refining stations in the world as they will be converted to this new process. You can build your own refineries for yourself, you can get your org to help you out, or you can simply trade for the materials that you need on the open market.
Yeah, so we skipped some of the talk about refining, I think, there.
Blueprint step is quality radar.
Here we go.
Once you collected the raw materials, the next step is refining them. Refining, like crafting, requires blueprints.
There you go.
Refining blueprints take primary, secondary, and catalyst materials.
Okay, and so this is what the refining blueprint looks like. So we're talking refining, crafting, and upgrading blueprints.
To reputation for industrial professions, are there any plans to expand what we get from improving said reputations? Rewards and perks instead of just extra missions. Is more work a good reward?
Well, I don't know. I keep getting it. Yes.
No good deed goes on.
Yeah, no. Everyone is aware that obviously the sort of progression in our game right now isn't there. 100%. The way we're going with reputation is that as you grind it out with whatever factions, you get rewards like new blueprints to craft. You'll get skins, items, and also new missions will unlock via that. That's the ultimate way. So like if we think about the industrial missions, as you start crafting through that, maybe they give you the blueprint for making the mining heads that you currently have to purchase. They give you blueprints to make mining bags that are empty and bits and bobs like this. And you know, in the future, they give you the blueprints for actually being able to make the ship to engage with that.
This is the greatest part, dude. This is what I've been so excited for, and we've talked about it so many times. So many times. It literally takes me back to CitizenCon 2023. This is the first time they like really started to dive into this idea of like, yeah, we're gonna have factions giving you the good stuff, like literally right here. Check it out.
As part of fulfilling contracts and raising reputation with these companies. For rewards, we'll have branded ship and tool skins, branded clothing. There will be collectibles to decorate your hab, hangar, or ship, or you can put them anywhere you want. And there'll be more exclusive rewards that we'll be revealing later.
See, people will tell you like these things get pushed for years and years and years and years, but this is the specific start of it. They had things about reputation in the past, but this was really when they came out and they were like starting to show actual branded items coming from factions as rewards for these things. It is part of the great disappointment of 2023 that was the so many features that were supposed to be coming in within like 12 months, 24 months, however long you want to say, that we still don't have. I'm glad they're talking about it now, but it's like it's still talk. This was talk, and then 2024 was talk, and 2025 was talk, and I can see that they're going in this direction, but it'd be really nice to see reputation making a difference in this game at some point, somehow. Please, soon. Please.
Kind of gameplay or improve your ability in that kind of gameplay, going from like a prospector to a mole, things like that. So 100%, it's something that we want. It's something that we're trying to take baby steps towards because we want it sooner. We have a full design, but the full design is like harder to get to. So we do, you know, as the memes you've said, tier 0, tier 1, all that. So we'll do baby steps towards it.
When's the first baby step?
Is he right?
Like, when is this baby born?
Yep.
Let's jump to, we've done a little bit of cargo, a little bit of mine refining. Let's go to salvage. Are there any plans to generate dynamic salvage claim contracts when a ship goes from owned to game rules?
Yeah, no, it's something that we want to do. There are plans, just plans. We want to have it so that we can have missions spawn dynamically based on this. So if you leave your ship outside anywhere, we can have a intelligence system that goes, right, this one's going to be salvage claim. It's not going to be every ship. Performance reasons, we need to just clean some of them up. But there will be ships that we go, okay, right, this one we're going to keep and we're going to assign Adagio, we're going to sell the rights to it, or a player is going to get a mission that takes you directly to it. Because obviously, apart from just like a forceful cleanup to help with performance, we also can utilize players via missions and paying you. Have you clean the game up for us? One thing I would love to do, because I keep seeing it on Reddit, is when people go to a shop and there's a load of bottles around the shop and they all pick it up and put it in the bin, and I'm like, I want to make that bin work so much.
We had a system for that plant where you get actually rewarded for throwing in trash into the bins.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Beautiful.
but they got to fix the throw. No, they got to fix the throw animation. Because I'll look at the trash bin and I'll try and chuck the bottle in there and it'll hit like 2 feet above it. Give me a better. They put the line for my trajectory coming from like my nipple instead of my arm. I'm not throwing bottles with my nipple. CIG. I don't know what they do over there in Manchester, but help a man out if he wants to clean up the place. I do love the idea of getting missions from ships left over. That's another one that we've been asking for forever. And it's another one that it's nice to have confirmed again. And I think that really encapsulates this whole episode for me. This is all great confirmation of things that we have wanted to know about and like have reconfirmed, because it's been a while and it's important in a game with this kind of development, even though we know that if they haven't said anything different, that means it hasn't changed. It's still nice. It's good to know. But it's still like, okay, when? I do take some comfort in the fact that they're actually moving forward with features now. So I'm guessing we'll see some of this stuff fairly soon.
Right.
Yeah, Chris is always very into systemic solutions instead of artificial rules for stuff. And, we have cleanup rules because it's a necessity for where we are in the game. The game's over the years about wanting, if somebody leaves a ship, that should become a salvageable thing. If somebody's leaving trash, there should be gameplay to pick it up, what you just said, and put it in the bins. This is design systemic solutions that the players can engage in order to maintain the performance of the universe, rather than these artificial rules that just come in and magically make things disappear and stuff like that. It's the amount of conversations that have happened over the years about cleaning up bottles and putting them in cans and salvaging ships that are abandoned or wreckages that are left over and stuff. It's just, it's all there. It's just like anything else. It's finding the time and the resources.
Wait till we start making missions where if people leave the ship and press the button to reclaim it, there's a mission where someone's got to go get the ship and take it all the way to where you live.
Oh yeah.
It's so, I understand. I don't know how people have, I don't know how people have like reacted to this episode, really. I haven't seen much conversation about it, but I would understand if people reacted to this emotionally. They're having a talk. Dude, I think this is the thumbnail I used for the video when I made my summary, which is kind of insane. That's really weird. It's kind of annoying to hear. Yes, we want to build everything systemically so that the game works systemically and things happen. And then like we are in 2026. I actually think it's a little crazy we're in 2026, man. Like the whole first half of the decade is gone. And as far as NPCs or systems doing things systemically, we're not really that much further than we were when I first started following this. The gameplay has certainly gotten better and features have gotten in and content's in, but I would really love to see some of these systems actually do the things that we've talked about over the years at some point. Just one, you see, I'm sure there is one. Okay. That's a little hyperbolic. I'm sure there's something that is systemically working and bouncing off of us in the game and it's functioning and I'm just not noticing it. But these more gameplay related ones around like ship cleanup or mission spawning or NPC reactions or economy, any of that stuff, dude. You just get like some little bit of that Tony Z energy in the actual game just to give us the confidence that they can do it would be phenomenal.
Oh yeah, you don't get your ship back till somebody goes and tows it back.
Couple of weeks minimum.
Because medical
Realism.
beacons, I'm sorry, I'm still going. Medical beacons were like the best sign of that, but we've seen how that's gone. Ow! The beacon system in general would be a great showcase for that kind of thing.
I believe there was a question about the SRV. Yes, are there any plans to use the SRV in salvage recovery missions, aka tow a shipwreck to hangar or junkyard?
We have plans for sure. We've prototyped it once or twice, but there are issues with it as to why we don't want to release it just yet. Like edge cases we need to sort of clean up so that it's not abused.
Genuinely thought, we got a lot of pauses today, huh? Genuinely thought that was going to be this. I know this is a visual conceptualization as it says in the corner, but I actually thought that we'd get some kind of towing missions or like there's not really. I'm glad they've gotten away from this idea of releasing ships into the game without any sort of mission whatsoever to support it. Except for maybe like the Perseus could have used a little bit more support. But like, I'm glad that the salvage moth came in and there were actually missions for it. The freaking SRV coming in was just a waste. They should have waited on that ship. No point in releasing it when they did.
While we're on salvage, why not? Can we have a bumper dumping button so we can stop suffering?
Actually, that is very high on our quality of life list for salvage improvements. So yes.
Just a one button.
Yeah, it's just
the buffer.
Yeah, it's clear buffer.
Where would it go? Would it just disappear, or would it actually?
No, no. It's just gone.
Okay. And when you say very high on your list, that's like next week, or?
No, high on the list just means it is like we have like every feature we release, we always have like lists of things that we want to improve. And if we get the allowance to work on those things, then we work from top to bottom. And I can tell you this is definitely in the top 5.
Okay.
For the guy who goes, we don't do when questions. You just asked a when question.
I checked the show with Benoit 2 weeks ago. I was asking a whole bunch of them.
This whole episode's
I'm at a point in my
when.
time here where I'm like, if they were going to do anything to me, they would have done it by now.
Yeah, let's hope he's not watching from Australia.
Don't say things like that, man.
Hi, Chris. How different will ship refining be compared to station refining? Just jumping all over the place here.
Yeah, it will be. So, station refinery right now will not be the refining method that you will have on your ship. But also moving forward, station refinery will not be what it is right now.
Back to what you were saying earlier, yeah.
Yeah, so back what we were saying earlier. So it will be the same gameplay. Full stop. So we will, like the moment that the new refining method comes in, it will be shared between player-driven and station-driven. The only thing that the station does for you is, it's done by an AI. It's done by the station versus you have a player doing it for you.
Just looking at chat. Spoken like a true doing it for the paycheck? What, Ryan Mac Gamer? What are you talking about?
Ban him.
You're dependent. Hold on. Can I time a person out?
Where's Knight Rider?
Do I have the ability?
I feel like it's you can't. I don't know. It's a little. Can you say that about somebody who's literally on the clock? Of course they're working.
Oh, I do have the ability. Ryan Mac Gamer timed out for 600 seconds. Nice. Doing it for the paycheck. You wouldn't say that if you saw it. No. All right. We're going to do this next question. It's kind of a big one. And we're all going to try really hard not to piss off half of our fan base.
Let's do
remember,
it.
Try
ready?
really hard.
All right, count yourselves off. Alternate A's and B's. All my A's in chat. Ready to rage in chat, okay? Get your scams and angry faces primed.
Okay. We've got this. You ready?
Many players love the idea of building a second life in the complex, high-fidelity sci-fi universe you all have worked so hard to realize. Who wrote this, Mom? Can you again confirm how you intend for players to enjoy industrial gameplay without there being a need for armed protection? PvP readiness at all times. Your messaging has been mixed, and Spectrum continues to flare up on the issue.
Oh
Thanks.
my God, no!
Next question.
What are they doing? Get it? Come on, rage! Come on, do it! Yeah, kids, go! Ew! Bash him! He's terrible! Is this the mad part? Or is the answer the mad part? I might have been wrong there.
So, Star Citizen is a living and breathing world. So, the ultimate plan,
yeah, this is not
the
going
plan
to
that
go
we're
well.
aiming towards is we'll have systems that have different security rankings, right? The idea that we talked about at CitizenCon was Stanton is a high-sec system, and Pyro is low-sec. So, because of the current implementation of law and sort of...
Is that because I was yelling, Yeah, they have addressed this a lot. They've addressed this a lot. I think, do you see how conversations go around Star Citizen when we talk about danger and like the idea of PvE servers or the idea of everything is combat? Holy crap. The everything is combat trend is raging in Star Citizen right now because of this problem, because there are no jurisdictions of what's safe and what's not. Tons of people who want to stay away from danger will have no problem staying away from danger if they just know where danger is. It's hard to know that right now in this game. So while we've heard this a ton, it's clearly something that's constantly on people's minds until they get it fixed. So I understand why they're addressing it.
So because of the...
It's okay to not want risk. I don't care about, I love risk, but I have nothing against people who don't want any risk. If you want to get into a game and make money and not possibly get killed doing it, cool. They should have an option to do that. I am not a PvP player, quote unquote, as people would label it. I don't go searching for it. Happy to get involved in it. I do think the option of it is cool. I also think the option of getting attacked by NPCs is cool. But some people want to play without the option of getting attacked by either NPCs or players, and I think that's also cool. So, make it so.
Current implementation of law and sort of we don't have the law ships coming in and responding like as we want in Stanton. Right now, players can pirate in Stanton with little to no consequence at all. It's the exact same as Pyro. There's little to no consequence at all. So what we want to go towards is that, say you're going to, I don't know, craft something, right? And you need X amount of this really rare material, right? It's in abundance in Pyro, but it's not in abundance in Stanton. The idea is you can mine in Stanton, but it will take longer. And it's quite likely that you're going to be safer because of the law system when we evolve it. You'll be safer, but it's not impossible. You can still
You'll also be safer because you don't fall through the ground in Stanton as much.
Pirated. You can still get attacked by players. You could even still get attacked by AI pirates, right? Whereas if you go to Pyro, the goods will be in such abundance that it's easier to find, but it's so much higher of a risk for you to get attacked by AI or players. So the answer is, ultimately, there's always going to be a risk of being attacked by another player or an AI.
All right. Just for posterity's sake, because somebody did say they've talked about this a lot. Here's where they answered this before. And the answer is almost exactly the same. This is 2020. Todd Pappy, previous game director of Star Citizen PU. If you don't get the idea from the fact that they were answering it almost the exact same way 5 years ago, this is a common question.
Let's talk about the future of PvP. Where is Star Citizen PvP going?
Okay. So I think from that standpoint, you have to think about how different solar systems are connected to each other. So, and obviously, Stanton is a somewhat lawful system. It's got UEE versus Pyro is supposed to be a very unlawful system, or lawless system. And then, so where players want to be able to find the PvP versus where players don't want to find it, they want to focus more on PvE. I would start there. So they started, what system should I be in? What system, do I want to go to? And
if I'm in Terra, I probably should feel pretty safe. If I'm in Pyro, I should be looking over my shoulder.
Exactly. So, and with that, it basically comes down to, we'll never be able to 100%, guarantee, hey, you're 100% safe, and frankly, we don't want to do that. And I would put it more on the scale of, let's say, 90 to 10, or and maybe in a lawless area, it's the complete opposite. It's 10 to 90 kind of thing. So. We never want it to be a 0. We never want it to be 100%. But even then, in Stanton, we still want there to be areas for people to look for PvP. We still want there to be areas that are, mostly geared toward PvE. So it will really just depend on kind of how the player goes about looking for them, and then, are you turning off the monitored zones? Are you basically out in the middle of nowhere? So, and if so, then I think it should happen there. Then
we get the gist of it. They go on with this for quite a while. I think I have a video about this. It's almost no chance there's not some video about this on the channel, but it's the same ideas right now. It's based around, dude, hold on. I'm sorry. Let's just confirm that it's the same idea right now. This is from last year. Well, 2 years ago now.
1.0 will contain 5-star systems, 3 of these being lawful in Stanton, Castra, and Terra, and 2 of them being unlawful in Pyro and Nyx. So what's the difference? Let's take a look at Stanton. Lawful systems will be a mixture of high, medium, and low security areas. Each of these areas will be monitored by law enforcement agencies, and depending on the location, will dictate the emergency response time, with high-sec areas being the fastest. Initially, this response will be measured, but over time will escalate to overwhelming force.
So, we're beating this to death at this point. But just for posterity's sake, they're going over it again.
The difference will be per system, it will be either higher or lower. So you can make an informed decision. So in Stanton, you're meant to be pretty much safe, but it's not going to rule out the fact that you're going to get attacked.
You're meant to be more safe than you will in Pyro, perhaps not as safe as you would in Terra.
Exactly, yeah.
It's the short answer to this, and Elliot, you actually acquitted yourself very well there, thank you.
The short answer, and also the answer that we probably say every month at this point.
It's the answer is the law system is not where we want it to be.
Yeah.
That's essentially the slug line, the 10-cent version of that. There will always be conflict. There will always be some chance of having your day rained upon, just like there is in the real life. But if we do our job right and we continue developing the game the way that we want to, the systems that we're still waiting on, remember how long we waited for server meshing to this? If the systems we're waiting on come online as they're supposed to, eventually this will grow into a place where where those changes in security and everything are obvious to the players, and you will be allowed to make those decisions for yourself. Do I want the high risk, high reward of Pyro, or do I want the safer, more secure experience of Stanton? It's never going to be as simple as PvP players or PvE players or Care Bears or griefers or whatever pejoratives you want to throw. It's never going to be that simple. It's not that simple in real life. We're not
Those words are going to trigger different groups of people so successfully. But yeah, it's this has been gone over so many times, and honestly, even in the game now, it is really easy to avoid player interaction. Yeah, a lot of the valuable resources are in places where a lot of players go. They obviously need to work on resource scattering and spawn locations, and Wicklow is a huge dead end with a lot of funneling into him. But as far as what this is shaping up into, I don't see why there's any problem with this, other than just people want access to everything on their own terms, which isn't how games work. Very sorry.
To build something that simple in black and white for Star Citizen. It's one of those things that's hard. It's hard to always picture where we're going based on where we are and where we've been. But I actually think we've been rather consistent in this messaging. The question says that we're not, and I think that's more about people hearing this part and not that part on any given stage, or people regurgitating this part and not that part, or maybe there have obviously been times over the years where we haven't been as clear as we should have been. It's a mixture of everything. But the goal has always been the same. A living, breathing, diegetic universe of risk versus reward just where do you want to go? Where do you want to go, and how do you want to play? We intend to cater to as many different groups as possible. I think Rich Tyrer said it.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, during we're not a PvP or a PvE game. We're an everything game.
Yeah, we just want to have like areas where you feel very protected.
Yep.
So where the security has like very short response times and is able to arrive in time before you explode.
Yeah.
So those people that are like not that into PvP, they have the AI protectors helping them.
Yep. Rhino Separat.
It's not a crazy thing. It's in games already. So yeah, I think that's probably a clip to send to people whenever they're asking about PvP and stuff.
That says actions, not words. To which I will say, look at the game today versus the game 3 years ago versus the game 3 years before that versus the game 3 years before that. The actions are there.
There's no more security though.
And we will.
Like, I get what he's saying, but the game 3 years before that had security. We had security that would come and fight us at space stations. I think that was added last year, but I haven't seen it. The law system sucks. And they dropped the law system in, they put the prison in, they did the reputation, and then it's been 6 years and it hasn't really gotten better. So I don't know. I think I'm going to call a foul on that response. The rest of the game, other things in the game, mining, tractor beam, cool. Server meshing, yeah, that stuff's been changed, but definitely not this.
All right. Let's do another cargo mission, or cargo question. Will we be able to pack and unpack uncontracted cargo into smaller or bigger containers?
Uncontracted?
Or contracted. Did I read that wrong?
Yeah, so contracted, I'm not too sure.
Please. I'd like it as well. I've got a question about that, but yeah.
You want to unpack them as well?
Yeah, well, if I give the player, like one of the problems we have, sorry, we're going a bit off. One of the problems we have is, so when we did the Alliance Aid event, right?
Yeah.
And we had the cargo missions, and we had to give players 8 SU boxes.
Oh, yeah.
That's because I want to serve an average player ship size, and 8 SU is currently the average player ship size.
I see.
So
makes sense.
What I'd prefer to do is go, hey, here's 200 SU you have to do, and then they use your system and go, okay, right, I'm going to unpackage and repackage.
I see,
And
okay.
then I can choose it for the massive raft that I've got compared to I'm going to move 201 SU boxes because all I've got is like a Pisces or something.
Well, good news. So there is a system already in place. So the design is already written. It's just waiting for some engineers to be able to start working on it, which is allowing us to actually like.
Good news for a Star Citizen player is that's coming in the next update. That's what good news sounds like to my ears. I know I love the confirmation that it's in the works, but man, when he says good news, I'm like, oh, and then he's like, the system's in place, and I'm like, oh, and then he's like, and the engineers are going to start working on it, and I'm like, fuck, dude.
Split larger boxes into smaller, or even combine smaller boxes into larger boxes. It comes with a fee. It's at least the intent as of now, but
the fee.
So we want to give the possibility on the actual like station inventory level that you use it there to repack your boxes into smaller or bigger boxes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's to your point. You had it. It's like not everybody has the ship that has the right configuration for doing some missions. I think the Mustang Alpha only has 4 SCU. Somebody's going to be like, that's wrong. How do you possibly not remember what the SCU of the Mustang Alpha was? And I'm going to be like, I'm old. But, in most missions start you off at like, what,
Jared,
6?
bro, you call yourself a freaking Star Citizen fan, man? Name 20 different times off the top of your head when Chris Roberts said immersion. Go. That's right. Didn't think so.
Yeah, all the missions start if you're off at 6, but yeah.
Well, we're getting the courier missions back soon, aren't we?
Maybe? Yeah, no, we are. We're working on, we split it up into 3. So we do courier, delivery, and then hauling. And the idea and the separation between them is courier will be one-handed items. So I don't want to say a burrito, but an example would be a burrito that you can put in your backpack. A two-handed box, which people who played this game a while back might remember the little two-handed boxes you walk around with. So that's courier. Then delivery is...
I really want to see them do courier missions where the job is to go find an artifact or something. So it's courier, but it's kind of exploration. They send you into a place, you have to get a certain object and you have to turn it into a certain person. And these are like, one object is like 3 million UEs, you know, like these are really valuable, high quality, low quantity deliveries. I also, I want to be delivering pizza and burritos to the hotel rooms in Arquart Tower, but I want that high price smuggling type kind of missions too.
Is how we bridge the gap between courier to hauling. So delivery will start at 1 SCU box, and it will go up to a total of 6 boxes of 1 SCU. We don't go above the 1 SCU size, which will help bridge that gap, and then players can do the hauling. And when I say it links them, it's not that you can't do hauling until you've done a bunch of courier and then a bunch of delivery. We'll offer them all straight away. But the idea is if you're a new player and you've only got, the Mustang or a smaller ship like the old Aurora or whatever, you'd start there, you'd earn money via doing this gameplay, and then you'd, rent a new ship or buy a new ship from the New Deal or whatever.
I do. People are excited for a burrito delivery mission, so now you have to do just a solo burrito. Interstellar hauling. Could you imagine? Our corp to Nick's, 1 burrito.
If I ordered like takeaway and someone put a singular burrito on a shelf in public and was like, "Yeah, put it over there for you," I'd be livid. Like,
you're selling it to me, dude. You're not talking me out of it.
What about an Amazon locker? If you had to go to an Amazon locker to get your burrito out of it, are you still sold?
Man, people used to have to hunt the whole animal down, Elliot. Come on. 2900s. If they only knew what we had to do. I had to drive all the way to Tuncle Bill.
Yeah,
who knows what the 30th century is going to be like?
Whatever, we'll do it. What do you think, Todd?
The idea of these cargo things being split out, I really, really hope that they do not take the path of you start out with courier and then you graduate to delivery. And then when you want to go to end game, you do cargo hauling. No, please don't tie the progression to the ship size. We need to have the ability to pursue courier work as like a full-time thing too. And I do believe that's what they're going to try to do. They just didn't explicitly say it here, I don't think.
Want like same location delivery missions.
I think the courier missions we have right now when they talk about these missions, they talk about bringing them in for reputation in the mission contract manager. Because like the resource gathering missions we've also had for a little while, but they're only just counting them as coming in. So I think it's just a weird way they consider the missions. Why a fee for packaging boxes? Why can you not just see the block of cargo you need moved and then right click to split and then drag over to combine? It doesn't need to be complicated. It's a convenience thing, a service thing. If you have a certain size ship and you can split certain boxes down into that certain size ship, it allows you to complete a task that a certain type of commodity came in a certain size box for that size ship. This is just a side effect of the way that they're categorizing cargo hauling missions. So if you get like a ship or a mission that is meant to be hauled in a C2 because it has a certain size box, but you could break those boxes down into size that fits in a Cutlass Black and then run that route better, and sort of break that trade route. To be honest, that would be the true sandbox approach, right? That would be the immersive approach, but they're trying to make it so that each tier gets its own profit margins and stuff. I think that's actually a little bit different from what people wanted from this game, but that's the way they're going about it. So if you are going to use a new ship to get those cargo boxes into a different size ship, then there's got to be some deterrent for people to not break those boxes down. And I'm guessing that's the fee. That's my take right off the top of my head. I don't actually know why they're giving a fee. Deterrents are usually the answer, though.
Mentally connected. Also coming. The DCs, the distribution centers, one of the things we're going to do for the delivery pilot missions is you're going to get missions to move boxes between the wings of the same DC. So you get your little vehicles, load it up on boxes, and truck on around.
I like
and then
that.
Take them off again.
I used to
Need more localized gameplay.
Beg Todd Pappy for the stupidest mission in the world. And this is the absolute truth. I said, I want a mission. I would love a mission where it's just, it's like from Jared, it's from Disco or whatever, and it says, I've lost my keys. Can you help me find my keys? Like you get it from a kiosk, and the keys are sitting right on top of the kiosk. And you're just like, pick it up and goes, great, deliver.
straight
And
in.
you just like there. You never have to take a step anywhere. It's just the dumbest, most pointless mission with mining.
How much are you going to pay them for that? Okay, we'll talk with economy about
But
it.
I used to like just a mission to find my keys, and they're right there. I just tried. Bring back the racing missions. It's not really industrial.
Well, no, but we have a bunch of missions, like the courier ones, that I don't want to say died, but
He's like, it's not really industrial, but they chose the question.
broke when we did 4.0. The systems changed, and it was quite a lot to get back. The racing missions are also one of them. They require, it's kind of like a multifaceted thing to get them working. It requires a little bit of us, a little bit of engineering, a little bit of UI, sort of to get it all together. However, we also want to look at the experience of it. One thing that we found really frustrating, and I know players did as well, was I get my ship, I fly 30 minutes to get to the racetrack, I bungle out on the first fucking corner, and then I'm like, right, let's get that flight suit, let's reclaim that ship, let's wait. We want to have and try to get a nicer experience for racing missions than what is currently, ages ago there was all sort of talks about having some form of like a little platinum bay right next to the station, maybe a little med zone, boom, boom, back in the ship, round the track. Because we want racing in, but we also want it to be fun and accessible.
We're gonna need to get a button next time Elliot's on the show.
What's my button for? Oh, right, yeah. I'm making an active effort. It's just
I know. No.
It flows.
We have the same vocabulary. The only difference is I'm trained to crush it here.
Yeah, you've had 11 years.
Outside of the show, I'm very blue. I'm in sad. No, I'm just kidding. What is the plan to make industrial multi-crew gameplay more impactful and a forced multiplayer, i.e. mining and salvage?
We did already a lot to improve the multi-crew experience there. I think we did more on the mining side than we did on the salvage side.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. How would you feel if mining and salvage, the use of the lasers within those ships, actually required a little bit of engineering if you wanted to get the most out of them? Is that multi-crew or is that just annoying? Because when they talk about multi-crew for stuff like mining, I'm thinking, what about, like, go back to the original mining document and look at the different jobs that they had, that they were listing. A lot of it is kind of included in the game. So this one is to read, basically read what's going on with the rock that you're shooting heat into. That's something that you do when you are mining already. Laser seismometer shows each individual tremor within an asteroid as well as superposition of the various waves. That doesn't really happen, but that would be interesting. Analytics material processor, we have this. It tells us kind of what's in the rock. Cargo operator, that is, see, they list that as part of the mining process. Refinery operator, that is something that you could do on one of the bigger ships, but like cargo operation is part of mining, yes. What else do we have here? We have the pilot, obviously. They list a scan operator and a beam operator. Like, are they hitting this? Do you guys feel like mining gameplay is truly multi-crew? You would not like engineering to affect the mining lasers? Engineering should always be to enhance or survival, never necessary for standard tasks unless capitals. You would like it if you had to have knowledge of engineering to tweak your settings, but not so much at the time of operating the laser. Right, doesn't have to be when, I'm not talking about when operating the laser. No, definitely not. I'm talking about setting the ship up for mining. I'm talking about tweaking, overclocking. The idea of being able to pump additional power into your mining laser because you know you can put more power into it because you've also boosted your coolers. But if somebody else tries to do it and they don't boost their coolers, they mess up their ship. You get ahead because you know how engineering works. They can't. Not to say that they can't do the mining, just to say that it is more powerful if you do the engineering. I think that would be a great addition. I think that's how everything in this game should work. It should be limited by power and what's dangerous and what's not. But as you can see, people do not want that gameplay to be added to other things. That seems like the most obvious way to make multi-crew more function in this game, though.
I don't know if... Yeah, so one thing we did was making use of the instability, for example, for mining.
Multiple lasers, being able to shore up the rock.
So if you're in different ships, multiple lasers will increase the instability. If you're on the same ship, multiple lasers actually won't affect it too much. So that encouraged players to use the mole, especially for the instability rocks, or the harder to crack instability rocks, or at least that was our intention back then. And it somehow worked. There's definitely still like room for improvements in regards to like true multi-crew multiplayer gameplay. I think like not industrial, but engineering gameplay also like already moves into that segment. For salvage, it's a bit harder to achieve because of just the mechanics that we have for salvage, because they are like either you point a scraper beam on the surface or you basically align a ship into a deconstruction field. So there it's a bit harder to find like meaningful multi-crew or multiplayer gameplay mechanics. But like especially on the salvage side, we have like huge ships where it's like very, very beneficial if you have a lot of players on the ship. Like talking about the reclaimer, it is like very useful if you have someone in the cargo hold already unpacking the filler stations. But moving forward, what our goal is here is also like less like being like in this island features where we want to have the multi-crew, because we are like this, like we really want to tie in all the features together with crafting. And that means that we rely, or players will have to rely more on other players to do their job in a very, very good way, so that they also can benefit from it. Like what I'm talking about is if you have a miner that basically is very effective in finding and mining the high quality resources, and then in the far future, or in the not so far future, you have then the refiner that then brings in the refining process they have on their ship, and then refine it, like even increase the quality or retain the quality, or do something that helps the then crafter to actually be able to craft the perfect gun, the perfect ship component for you. So this is like, sure, you can do it alone, but that time and effort you have to put in alone is just tremendously like lower if you have friends, or if you even don't have friends and you just pay people in the verse to do your job.
Which one are you?
Second.
Yeah, I was
not gonna lie, I am also the second.
Almost every
I think that's not even just not having friends though. The idea of being a solo player versus a multiplayer is a weird one in my opinion, because you could be a solo player who plays and interacts with other players but literally never talks to them, never gets affected by them. Like if you need the best quality aluminum, you're not getting it from a store. And what are the chances you're actually going to trouble yourself to go out and find it wherever it might be? There's going to be a player you need to buy it from. If you want something good, maybe you don't want something good, maybe you don't care. But I think this idea of being a solo player is maybe not as common, or won't be as common as people think, because at some point maybe you need to be refueled, or maybe you need to pick something up from a city. Maybe you, I don't know, are getting rescued. It's like there's so many different ways that you could come into contact with another player in this game. It's not going to be like Dune, where you can just play a single player situation. Well, actually, I think you will be able to play a single player situation. But more often than not, I think if you're getting involved in anything outside of the main storyline, or just those kinds of narratives, you're going to end up coming into contact with players in some way. Not a bad thing. Should be fun.
Star Citizen developer can be divided into one of two camps. The ones who say soon a little too easily, and the ones who say far, far future a little too easily. Chat's picking up on how often you say the far, far future. I'm just saying.
Bro, no, Torsten, Torsten will hit us with all kinds of teasers. I remember in 2023 spring, I believe, maybe 2024, when he said we'd be seeing engineering sooner than we think. He also told me good news earlier, so.
My far future is the next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
one of those things where I've actually been thinking for the last 20 minutes how to explain this difference. There are people here who have to live. What's the line from Fast and the Furious? I live a quarter mile at a time. There are people here who live like one patch at a time. Like it's the ones who have to deliver what's happening right now. They're actually down in the code, down in the stuff. So anything beyond the next patch seems like a universal way, and it really skewers the timetable. For years with multiple weekly shows and stuff, I could never think of something more than 3 weeks away. 3 weeks away was this impossibly far. So what I'm saying is, just like like I would caution you to, what you read into when someone says soon, caution the same thing when Torsten says far. None of the people in here are in charge of the schedule. So we're not making any comments related to that. Elliot?
Yeah?
Why do event missions keep using a bunch of smaller boxes for the mission size instead of the larger ones?
Do we rewind to the conversation me and Torsten just had a couple of minutes ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
But why do you do
But why? So it's the same thing. I'll go over it again. What I talked about with Torsten a few minutes ago is, so when we do an event, we make it for everybody. We want it to engage every type of player we had, because we have so many different types of players. And one of the fun things about events, or that can be fun, and we saw with Alliance Aid, is all of these peoples of different walks of life coming together, right? Everyone being in this station in Levski, running around, all doing the little bits, whether they're going out to go murder a load of, Moraine gang, or maybe they're like transporting goods. So with that, we look at the average ship size that's owned by players. And it comes out at the SUs around 8 SU. So we sometimes go lower than 8, sometimes we stay at 8, but we don't want to give really big boxes, because then some people can't engage in some form or fashion. But that's only a temporary thing we're doing until the system Torsten was on about comes online, where you can choose the size of your box, because that means in the future when we do these missions, we're just going to tell you how much SCU we need at the end destination, and how you split that up into box sizes is completely up to you as the player doing this.
Yeah, it feels like either the system Torsten was describing, where you could split the boxes up, or something dynamic in Mission 2.0 that looks at what ship you currently have spawn and goes, okay, this thing has a storage capacity of this, so I will generate boxes of this side. There's some combination of the two, maybe.
The problem with like the mission auto detecting it, right, is say me and Torsten are mates and we're both playing, we've both got a dead small ship. We then want to split it up, maybe for his ship, because he owns a bigger one, or maybe we're going to do one run at the same time in 2 small ships. So instead, I want to break it up into smaller boxes. So we know it's not perfect. It's something we want to get better at, but we need the system to be able to do that.
We need the system. We need the system. I do definitely think we should be able to change our box size. What the heck if you what if you have the best ship in the game, the Pisces, and you want to help the freaking Alliance?
We touched on this a little bit, Torsten. I want to get it in and get it clearer here. Any plans to release fueling or towing missions this year?
Yes.
That's another video we're going to be able to spawn on. What is that answer?
Yes.
The most freaking evil response, dude. I'm so glad that this was about something like missions in the game. If this was about like, are players going to be able to respawn in the game, and he answered like this, I'd be like, are we going to permadie?
Trying to think of what I want to say. Yes, and there'll be a discussion on that soon. The poor Starfarer has languished for some time.
4 years.
Huh?
4 years.
Starfarer came out in 2016.
Yeah, but the functionality came out for it. It was my first thing I worked on.
It was supposed to be what saved us in Pyro.
But there haven't been missions for it. It's refueling. Refueling is interesting because I was talking about this. Been talking about it a lot because there might be a new refueling ship coming.
Barry says it.
There is a new refueling ship coming. In a while.
In the very far.
All right, put your votes in the chat. Are they going to release the new refueling ship before they fix the Starfarer? Are we going to get the refueling ship brought in with a refueling update, but the Starfarer doesn't get the update? Oh, man. Can the refueling ship just be the Vulcan, please? Can we get the Vulcan? All of this is really primed for the Vulcan. And we know they're working on drones for base building, so just bless us, CIG.
No, not soon or far, just in a while. So we've been talking about this as a loop. Refueling sort of sits with with the medical gameplay is this one where it's not really supported by the gameplay.
Fill in the blank. It's not supported by the game.
Like the story and the gameplay we provide, it kind of relies on other players. Like you have to wait for another player to get shot and wounded before you have something to do as a medic. And with refueling, you kind of have to wait for another player to run out of gas and be like,
well,
that's what I'm getting at. Go ahead.
So we're actually currently working on refueling missions, and we're doing 2 types for the initial release. We're going to do player to AI refueling. So this is where I have my Starfarer. I can take a contract from the faction, which I'll leave as a surprise for later, not because I forgot the faction name. We'll offer you the contract. You'll go. There will be a ship that's out of fuel, and you will go up to it and you'll fill it full of fuel. And that might not all, that, depending on where you are, potentially what system you are, you might turn up and they didn't need fuel.
Combat.
They want your fuel bags because maybe it's valuable.
What? Someone abusing the service beacon system?
Yeah.
How dare they?
We might also have ones where you've refueled the person, and then maybe some people come to finish the job off or something. Some pirates or whatever. And then we have the opposite, which is going to be AI 2-player refueling. This is where you put up a beacon, and this is because the work to get the PvP beacon done is just a little bit extra. So what we're going to do for the first release is have it so you can make one, but we have an AI ship to come to refuel you. So the AI ship will come.
See, now that's a big one. And it's also weird that the player-to-player stuff would be more work. If you know Star Citizen's AI, then you would be as scared as I am with the idea of one of them trying to dock with you to give you fuel. That's terrifying. Like, if I had valuables on my ship, I don't think I would do that. I would prefer to just have somebody come bring another ship and move all my stuff over than have an AI try to dock with me. You gotta blow you up. So I'm wondering how that's gonna go. But if it works, it's a big deal. Because like he said with medical, it's the same idea. If an AI can come and refuel us, then what is it gonna be? Like, how much further do they have to go for an AI to come in to revive us? In these FPS missions, when you're sitting in a bunker and there's some other security folks, you're going to be a lot less likely to backspace if you know that a security person, if you hit the spawn button and no player takes the beacon in a certain amount of time, then the bunker you're in spawns a medic inside the spawn closet and comes over and gets you up. That's like way that's way past getting people. Sorry, that's a great way to get people to stop just backspacing out of situations. And then we can go beyond that. Now you could say an NPC can fly your ship to you when it needs to be delivered. These are all crazy sort of speculations, but that's just, if somebody's going to come and refuel me, why can't they come and do those other things? I'd love to hear more about that.
Make one, but we have an AI ship to come to refuel you. So the AI ship will come, you'll ask it to dock, you'll dock with it, close, and then it'll give you your fuel for
You'll dock with it. I still don't trust that.
So, I mean, that second one is certainly interesting for the broader community, but it having the missions that spawn an AI who's run out of gas and actually have a purpose, having something to do with your Starfarer and other potential refueling ships that isn't just waiting for another player to choose not to backspace, kill themselves, and it's a long time coming.
Yep.
But we also have the intent of making the player-to-player refueling more accessible.
Yes.
In comparison to what we have right now.
Torsten has plans.
Yep.
I always have plans.
Quality of life.
Always.
The Gaming Tribunal says in all capitals, "Stop adding combat into industry." To which I will say, no. We just had a whole big conversation about that. It's all mixed, guys. It's all mixed. That's the game we're making. It's all mixed. We've been saying that for years. Whatever conversations people are still having, it's all mixed. It's just like the world. It's
while I agree, I would love some missions that I know are just going to be a chill time, like investigations or searching for people in caves and stuff. Love those to come back.
Sectors, you'll be less likely to have it happen in Terra, a little more likely to have it happen in Stanton, and if you're in Pyro, Go with
exactly. It's not supposed to be happening that much in Stanton. They keep bouncing off the idea that Stanton is so much more lawless, but they acknowledge that the law system's not working. So we can move on.
Or the next closest approximation. When it comes to salvage gameplay, to a few more salvage questions since we got the moth out recently. Moth. When it comes to
not the same ship though.
I was about to say something really. When it comes to salvage gameplay, is it still planned that we will be siphoning fuel and oxygen or using salvage charges to gain access to wrecks?
So
oh shoot, that's my question.
Back in the days, we talked about siphoning is it siphoning or siphoning? Siphoning fuel and oxygen from derelict ships or from recently deactivated ships. So we didn't find a meaningful place of that in the entire gameplay loop, because right now we really would like, on the fuel side, we would rather encourage refining and the fuel gathering. So I think there was also a scooping question in regards to that. So we rather would like to focus on those gameplay mechanics. So mining to get quantanium, refine it into quantum fuel. Also then the scooping part to get hydrogen out of like gas clouds or atmospheres, and then refine that into the corresponding fuel, rather than you like invading ships and then like putting in a plastic tube and moving it from one ship to the other. So that like all jokes aside, I think the more interesting gameplay here is more on the scooping part and on the refining and mining part. So we decided, okay, this is not the most necessary part of the salvage gameplay. So we put it on hold for the time being. Same for the atmosphere. Right now when we were talking about that, the concept of the life support generator as we have it right.
So that's confirmation, right? That siphoning will still be in. It's just on hold. At least that's what he's saying.
Right now, with the engineering gameplay, wasn't that well defined yet, or wasn't at the point where we are at now, because it also went through a lot of iterations. And right now, with the actual life support generator, with the filter items there that can actually generate the oxygen or the gases for the ships, this is also like an unnecessity at this point. About the charging breaches, though.
So yeah, it also sounds like the life support stuff is kind of on the back burner suddenly, even though it was being worked on for engineering. It's not what you heard? Did he not say?
That, all jokes aside, I think the more interesting gameplay here is more on the scooping part and on the refining and mining part. So we decided, okay, this is not the most necessary part of the salvage gameplay. So we put it on hold for the time being.
You put it on hold for the time being. They usually say if they're not going to do something from now on.
Of the life support generator as we have it right now with the engineering gameplay wasn't that well defined yet, or wasn't at the point where we are at now, because it also went through a lot of iterations. And right now, with the actual life support generator, with the filter items there that can actually generate the oxygen or the gases for the ships, this is also like an unnecessity at this point. About the charging breaches, though, yeah, they are still on the table. So we are discussing them very regularly, but then we realize we don't have the time to do them, or we don't have the people to do it in time.
But then, yeah, the way he says that, it does make it sound like, oh, that stuff wasn't going to happen, but this still is. So.
And then we're like, oh yeah, sad. And then we move on.
Sounds like this is just a more current thing.
Talk about it at a later point again.
I genuinely thought salvage charges were going to be like the mining gadgets. They were just going to bring them in, and it'd be the FPS gadget that you do with your salvage gameplay the year after mining. But he's talking about how they're doing all this work, but salvage is still... And we don't have fuel scooping, do we? Is fuel scooping work again yet?
I'm going to address this because it came up, but Commander Tanith says your industrial players don't want constant combat in their industrial missions. A rare chance is one thing, but adding combat into every aspect of the game is lazy. Commander Tanith, I'm not saying we're going to add combat into every aspect of the game. That's a kind of a gross misappropriation of what we've been talking about here when we talked about this earlier. There will be a chance, is what we said, and the chance changes depending on what system you're in. As the law system continues to develop, those chances will reduce in the systems that you expect it to. There's a continual struggle.
But didn't even Elliot say that there's missions where you can get, but there are also others where you will not.
Yeah.
So it's also like should be very clearly visible in the mission.
Yeah, exactly. The mission will tell you.
Yeah.
There's a continual struggle in building an MMO out over the last, the PU's been up and running since December 2015, so about 10 years at this point. Running a live environment in the middle of your game development and stuff, and it's this constant pull between developing for today and developing for tomorrow. Anything that you build for today is almost guaranteed to have to be redone because of something that's coming down the line for tomorrow. So when possible, you're faced every single day with 100 little micro decisions that are, do we build it this way for today or do we build it this way for tomorrow? Because we know where we're going. And most of the time you want to build for tomorrow. You want to build systems that can scale and that can evolve into this vision that you're going towards. People have noticed I've mentioned Terra a couple times. I'm simply referring back to the Road to 1.0 from Rich Tywer's presentation at CitizenCon 2 years ago, where he said, the Road to 1.0 includes 5 systems, with the last one being Terra, the safest of all the systems. The idea being, it's towards the middle there, towards the middle of the empire you're safer. And then as you get farther and farther out from the empire, you find more and more danger and risk.
Empire.
That is not the same as what Commander Tanith says, adding combat to every aspect of the game is lazy. It is building a living, breathing system of measured risk and reward that then you get to choose. You get to have the agency of playing in the areas that you want to play in and accepting the risk versus the reward that you want. It's not lazy, it's allowing you the agency to choose. And that's what we're building towards. That's not always easy to see.
It's just like how games are built. I don't understand this idea of... Actually, I do. Never mind. Using the argument of putting combat into everything is not the right argument. People keep using the wrong statements. And also, he's picking the statements to reply to. But that's because people are using the wrong statements. It's not about putting combat into everything. It's just making sure that there's a breadth of stuff. And the problem is that it's not right now. He's basically going back and forth with people and being like, it's going to get to the point where you can have no combat if you don't want it, and you can if you do. But people are concerned with right now, dude. Security. There's no security. There's nothing stopping people from doing crappy stuff now.
And so I understand where the frustration comes from. I mean, I've experienced the frustration myself. You log into Twitch streams, you see the frustration every day. I just encourage folks to remember that decisions are often made based on where we're going, not necessarily. Weird thing showing up in the building. Not necessarily where we are right now. It's just a continual balance, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. And last year, 2-star systems. We're going whenever the crafting system on the way. Inventory rework. It's hard. It is hard to look at some aspects of the game today and be like, why don't you just fix that and whatever. It's like the issues with the moth right now. There are people who have just bought a moth and they have the issues with the buffer size being wrong and the salvage beams being they're slow. Is that what's happening with the salvage beams?
They are very slow, dude.
I don't have the issue counts in front of me. And these are all things that are being adjusted and worked on for 4.7. And so this is just, that's the next time we can do major code additions to the game. We can't fix everything with hotfix. It's difficult. And I saw some of the responses there. I want to encourage people, rewatch that section. Elliot was very eloquent in his answer, and I encourage you to see it again. It's about giving you the choice to play how you want, and with the amount of risk and the amount of reward that you seek.
One more thing to add on to that is Star Citizen is very unique because of scale. And when you're building content for something that's got an infinite scale, you need variability. So chances of other things happening so that it doesn't get stale. And that's what it is. And it will be controlled, as you've said, per the systems, per the law. But we need variability to achieve the scale and make it feel not the same old, same old.
Right. And with that, we'll wrap up.
They just need to keep telling people there are gonna be missions where you won't get attacked. There are going to be missions where you won't get attacked. Every time this comes up, just keep telling people there will be missions where you won't get attacked.
We'll be back next week. I think our SCL next week is with the audio team. So there'll be a thread up on Spectrum tomorrow collecting your questions. We'll do the same like we did today. You guys submit your questions. We'll pose them all to the audio team. I think we're going to do a focus on spaceship audio, which they've been doing a whole lot of work on. So look for that thread on Spectrum tomorrow. Until next time, Torsten, Elliot, thank you so much for hanging out and for answering questions and for being candid as always.
Spaceship audio is cool.
Bye, everybody.
Alrighty. Interesting industry talk. Pretty telling. The topics they focused on, the topics they did not. For starters, base building did not come up at all. That's a big teller. I think we can probably be pretty confident base building is not happening this year. Or they just want to be really cagey about it. But like, if they're not saying a dang thing about it yet, oof, then I don't know about that. Otherwise, answers were interesting. Most of it, though, was here's what we're gonna do, and that's like a decade-long tradition now. You mentioned that like he shouldn't watch Twitch chat. He's getting baited. I mean, people are voicing their anger in ways that are unproductive, and to be quite honest, I am also really bad at ignoring that because they're kind of stupid statements. Like, obviously there's not combat in everything. If you go to the freaking mining facility right next to the spaceport or next to the planet, you're not going to get into combat. But that's besides the point. People are just frustrated because things haven't moved. And while we took a whole year off from features moving forward last year, it's not great to spend that whole year off from features moving forward and then come back the next year and hear them talk about how the engineers need to get started on work for this feature. It's like, oh, maybe just talk about the stuff that's almost here. At the same time, though, I'm not of that belief. I would prefer they talked about all this stuff freely. I wouldn't say it makes me mad, the lack of progress on the industrial side, even though these are great confirmations and good things coming, and I do feel like we're making much better progress than before. It's just more disappointed that it's not making bigger steps forward all at once right now. Yeah, that's right. Crucify me. I want everything at once. Waited a long time. Okay, just want some mining missions to matter and an ownership system so we can give stuff to each other and the ability to just like share things and play this a multiplayer game, you know? But yeah, I think this was a solid talk. These are good people to get on the talk. I am appreciative of what they had to say and for sitting down during their time to say it. We'll see what kind of news and drama and other stuff comes out of this, but I'll see you for the next Star Citizen Live next week talking about ship audio, apparently. Yay!